I'm here with Paul Gooding, who's the head of European Renminbi Business Development for HSBC. We've been talking about the renminbi as a trade currency pool, but it also has great opportunity for investing in. So tell us what the attractions are for investing in the renminbi.
I think the main attractions at the moment are, certainly for European private banks that we see, is this diversification for their portfolios to move away from Europe and away from US dollar assets. But also for institutions, it's the chance to invest in what will be the world's next sort of growth currency.
All right, and we've seen, a great deal of increase in the strength of the renminbi over the last few years. Do you think that's a long-term process? It's clearly not going to be a straight line process.
No, my view is I think the appreciation continues, but at probably a much slower rate. We saw the Chinese authorities widen the peg to the dollar to 1%. I don't think we've hit against that peg since then. So we're starting to see much more two-way business in the currency, which we feel is a sign of a maturing currency.
Okay, so say I buy into the argument that I should be invested in the renminbi. So tell me about the different instruments I've got available to me in order to do that.
The main instruments you have available at the moment would be if we talk of the offshore market, would be the offshore bonds, the dim sum bonds,
yeah,
or CDs. Access to equity market, you could get exposure to Chinese shares through Hong Kong dollars, but not through renminbi. You would need to get a Q.3 license to invest onshore for equity exposure in renminbi.
Okay, all right. Well, probably it's more appropriate to start talking about the offshore market first. Now, I used to live in Hong Kong, so I know that dim sum is Chinese delicacies on the food front. And is that why it's been called dim sum, because it's such an attractive thing for people to participate in?
Yeah, I would like to think so. Yeah.
And tell us how the dim sum market works. Then it's an offshore market, and what sort of instruments are available in the dim sum market? Who are the issuers?
We're seeing a wide range of issuers. Back in April this year, we saw 3 issuers which were from 3 different industries, 3 different rating grades, and 3 different countries. We've seen supranational issues, HSBC have issued in the market, right. So it's open to all.
I think McDonald's issued in renminbi, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, okay. Now, and tell us about how that market's developing in terms of the yield curve and how far out you go in renminbi at this particular stage.
There was an issue in June for MOFCOM, which was the longest tenor, that was 15 years. I think for European issuers, we haven't seen anything longer than 5 years, I believe. But this is what the market's working towards, to establish a credit curve, to bring in better tools to help traders manage and hedge risk. That will be an interest rate swap market, a cross-currency swap market, so we can move further out the curve.
But so far, is there actually more demand for issuance than there is actually issuance?
The issues that we bring to market certainly sell very well. The sizes aren't huge if you look at European or dollar-based markets. So I think at the moment there's plenty of demand for the issues that come to the market.
And if you don't want to actually if you don't actually want to invest in a bond, can you just buy renminbi deposits?
Yes, you can. Certainly through HSBC, we offer that service.
And what about, you mentioned equity. Is it too soon for equity issuance in renminbi?
There was an IPO that was just pulled recently from Singapore. I think there was.
Why was that? Oh, clearly the demand wasn't there.
I think the demand wasn't there. I think there was one IPO in the whole of last year. So as you say, perhaps a little early at the moment for offshore equities. All
right, now let's tell us about the onshore market. Clearly, the onshore market in China is very limited as far as foreign investors are concerned. But there are ways around the regulations. Well, I don't mean around the regulations. There are aspects of the regulation that allow you to do it.
Yes, you can apply for a Q.3 license, qualified foreign institutional investor.
Right. And how many people have got those then? How many banks have got those?
I think there's about, it's not just banks, it's banks, asset managers, insurance companies, central banks, sovereign wealth funds. I think about 182 licenses have been granted so far. The Q.3 quota has just been increased from $30 billion to $80 billion. And the criteria relaxed. I think you needed something like 30 years track record, perhaps 5 billion or maybe more than that dollars under management. But again, the Chinese authorities are relaxing these rules to increase the flow for the internationalisation process.
Now, obviously, the interesting thing about that is, the more that they open up on the onshore side, the more it has the effect of merging the offshore and onshore markets, doesn't it, over a period of time? So how quickly would you expect that process to go?
If you think 18 months ago, I think the 5-year yields onshore and offshore were nearly 300 basis points apart. I think they're below 20 basis points apart now. And to go back to your point about access to the onshore market, because of the potential lack of liquidity for the offshore market, we're seeing more of our institutional customers, asking for the process to get QFII licenses, how they can invest onshore. The onshore bond market is now the third largest bond market in the world.
Is that right? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So that's the potential for that market, and I think over time the onshore and offshore will merge.
Okay, thank you, Paul. Well, I think now we've got a trade in the currency and investment in the currency, so we probably should talk finally just about who's issuing.